God's favorite feels like loneliness. You think favor feels like applause, like open doors, like smooth seas and smiling faces. You're wrong. God's favorite often feels like isolation, like holy exile, like being set on a shelf no one else can reach, like hearing a song no one else hears and being called crazy for dancing to it. In this transmission, we expose the sacred paradox of divine favor. Why the ones heaven loves most often walk the most solitary roads. Why your loneliness isn't abandonment, it's assignment. This isn't a pep talk for the lonely. This is a briefing for the set apart. The loneliness of the called. You've been praying for a connection, for a tribe, for someone, anyone who gets it, who sees what you see, who hears what you hear. But the more you press into purpose, the quieter the room becomes. Friends fade, family misunderstands. Even church can feel like a foreign country where you don't speak the language. You sit in a crowded room and feel utterly alone. You scroll through smiling faces and feel like a ghost. This is not a social failure. This is spiritual positioning. Heaven isolates whom it consecrates. The prophet is pulled from the palace to the wilderness. The apostle is sent to islands no one visits. The dreamer is sold into pits by his own brothers. Your loneliness is not a sign you're doing it wrong. It's evidence you're walking where few are willing to go. The frequency of the favored. You hear music in the silence. You see visions in the dark. You feel tremors in the spirit when everyone else is asleep. This isn't a psychological condition. It's a frequency alignment. You are tuned to heaven's bandwidth. And most of the world is listening to static. They call you too much because you're receiving more. They call you too deep because they are waiting in shallow water. They call you too intense because they've never stood in the presence of holy fire. Your sensitivity isn't a flaw, it's your antenna. And sometimes the clearest signals come through in the deepest solitude, the fire of the forged. Favor isn't a feather bed. It's a furnace. Joseph wasn't favored in the pit, he was forged in it. David wasn't favored in the cave, he was crowned in it. Jesus wasn't favored on the cross, he was glorified through it. Your darkest season isn't God's neglect, it's his studio. He's not absent, he's composing. Not silent, he's conducting. Not withholding, he's sculpting. Of loneliness, the silence, the ache. These aren't signs you've lost favor. They're proof you're being trusted with the kind of intimacy that breaks lesser vessels. The mandate of the misunderstood. You've stopped explaining yourself. You've stopped trying to make them see. You've learned to hold your revelation like a secret too precious to be understood by those who aren't ready to receive it. This isn't elitism, it's stewardship. Your calling isn't a group project, it's a solo flight over deep waters. And sometimes the only voice you need is the one who called you out onto the waves. Your loneliness has become your sanctuary. Your silence has become your classroom. Your isolation has become your incubation room. What's growing in you in the quiet will feed many in the noise. The truth about favor. God's favorite doesn't walk the red carpet. They walk the road less travels, often barefoot, often bleeding, often alone. But they are never unaccompanied. The God who called you into the wilderness walks with you in it. The God who led you into the silence speaks in it. The God who allowed the loneliness fills it with a presence so thick you'll someday miss the quiet. Favor isn't the absence of pain. It's the presence of purpose in the pain. You're not lonely because you're forgotten. You're alone because you're remembered. Chosen. Set apart. handpicked for a moment too holy for crowds. So wear your loneliness like a robe of honor. Carry your solitude like a sacred text. Walk your lonely road like the path of kings. You are not abandoned. You are anointed in the alone, and the song you hear in the silence, sing it anyway. Even if you're the only one dancing, heaven is your audience, and that is enough.